Yo, what's good, you guys? In this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use the brush pack that I recently released. If you are interested in buying this brush pack, you can find it on my website, onyxcollectives.com. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Once you purchase the brush pack, you're going to want to import it by going to the brush tool, then clicking this settings thing, then clicking import brushes, and then you just import the file that's provided. After that, you should see your brushes in here. So let's get started with the Onyx distressing brush. So to start off, I'm gonna make a new layer on my mockup that I have. If you guys are interested in getting mockups like this, you can also find it on my website, onyxcollectives.com. So basically, you're gonna wanna get your brush, right? You get your brush, you size it whatever size is the best for you. For me, I'm going to be using 64 pixels, but it's all up to preference. And then you're gonna wanna make a new layer. You're gonna start off by tracing a hole of where you want distressing holes to be. So let's start off with these two holes. After you've got your holes, you're gonna wanna double click the layer that your distressing holes are on. Go to color overlay, and the color really just depends on the garment. What I usually do is make the color a little bit darker than the garment, and then I also add an inner shadow, and I put the inner shadow on here, just blend it in, and it should already be looking good. So I'm gonna distress the piece a bit more, and I'm gonna show you guys the finished product. Alright, so I've currently got my piece fully distressed, and this is how it turned out. So this is basically how you use the distressing brush. This is basically how you use the distress brush. Now let's move on to the vintage texture brush. Alright, so in this same mockup, what you're gonna wanna do is go to your vintage texture brush. So it's gonna be at the bottom. You're gonna wanna size it maybe about 2000 pixels. And then you're gonna go to a design that you want to turn into a vintage effect. So for this design, I want to turn this center image into a vintage design. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select it, I'm going to get my brush again, and then make sure your brush is on clear. It has to be on clear or it's not going to work. If it's normal, it's just going to look like this. But if it's on clear, it's going to delete it from the image. Basically what you're going to do is just click a couple times or once. It just depends on you. And boom, you've already got your image distressed. That's basically how you use the vintage brush. Now let's move on to the rhinestone brush. So for the rhinestone brush, I already have a design I made here. It's just a couple words that I'm gonna put rhinestones on the letters. So let's get straight into it. So what you're gonna wanna do, you're gonna wanna create a new layer like usual. And then you're going to go to your rhinestone brush, which you also can find inside of the pack. Now you're just gonna size your rhinestones down to whatever size fits best for you. For me, I'll be using 36 pixels. Gonna change the color to whatever color works best for you. And you're just gonna start clicking away. As you can see, rhinestones appear on here every time you click. I double click just to make the rhinestones a little bit darker, but it's up to preference, to be honest. So I'm gonna keep clicking away and show you guys the finished result. Alright, now that I've put all my rhinestones in here, this is how it looks. Now, if you guys do have the rhinestones inside of textures, you're gonna want to take it out of the texture so they shine on their own individually. And one thing I like to do on top of this is just add a simple outer glow to make it pop. These are the settings I have for my outer glow. You can copy them. So this is basically how you use the rhinestone brush. Now let's move on to the edge fade brush. All right, for the edge fade brush, I have my mockup here. You can also find this mockup on my website. So what I'm gonna basically be doing is blending the edges of this picture right here, because as you can see, it doesn't look the best on here right now. But after I blend the edges, it's gonna look a whole lot better. So you're gonna get your edge fade brush, you're gonna size it. I probably would do 800 pixels. And then you're also going to make it clear, and then make sure your flow is on 100. For some reason, Photoshop sets it to 10. So you're just gonna wanna make sure your flow is on 100 when you're doing this. Now you're just gonna start at the top, hold shift, press the bottom of the image, and then it just deletes. You don't have to do the shift method, I just do it for straight lines. You can also just erase it normally. So I'll erase all 4 sides, and boom, we've officially blended the edges in 4 easy steps. This image still doesn't look good, so I'm gonna just blend it a little bit more by dragging this. And boom, as you can see, the edges are blended now. So that's basically how you use the edge blend tool. Now moving on, I'm going to show you guys how to use the final fur brush. So for the fur brush, I have my mock-up here. It's already has some designs on it and everything, but I'm just going to be adding fur to the edges, the pockets, and the hood. So now what you're going to want to do is make a new layer and select your fur brush tool. Now for me, I'm probably going to use 300 pixels, but it's just up to preference. Now you're going to want to select the color you want your fur to be. So for example, I'm going to make this a little bit darker. So now that you've got the color you want, you're just basically going to draw where you want the fur to be. Make sure that you're doing it all in one go, because if you don't do it all in one go, it starts clipping. So if you mess up, just delete everything and start again. But it's very crucial that you do it all in one go. I'll show you guys what happens if you do it in more than one go. So basically, this is the pocket with the fur on it. This is what happens if you do it in more than one turn. It starts clipping and starts looking weird. So I would just recommend doing it in one go. So now that I've got my pocket done, I'm gonna do the rest and show you guys the final product. All right, so I've done the rest of the hoodie. I've put fur on the hood. I put it on the pocket and the cuffs. Now this is just an optional step, but I like to put a texture on top of my fur already. So this is the texture I used. This texture is the texture I used. You can find it on texturelabs.org, I believe, or just type in a fur texture, whatever works for you. I like to put that on top of my fur and then just clipping mask it and make it a soft light, and it just blends really well. So yeah, that's how to use the fur brush tool. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me teaching you how to use my brush pack. If you are interested in buying the brush pack, you can find it on my website, onyxcollectives.com, and I will see you guys in the next video.